Mayong buntag Negros Oriental. Good morning, Philippines. I am Leia, your host, and welcome to another episode of Flexi Ed, or Flexible Learning Experience in Education, brought to you by the Department of Education, Division of Negros Oriental. Flexi Ed is a learning modality that is fair and equal to all because here at DepEd, education never stops. In last week's episode, we had all the way from Kenya, Mr. Rolando Villamero Jr., who discussed the essence of inclusive education even during the new normal. We also had the honor of meeting Madina Karsakpayeva, who gave us a gem of a quote when she said, "I may not be able to walk, I may not be able to jump, but through education, I am able to fly." So let's keep on flying here at Flexi Ed with our resource person all the way from the United States of America. Balira ba jud ang iyang time zone, so we're super honored to have her with us as she talks about leadership in turbulent times, implications for education. Allow me to introduce to you more deeply our resource person for today. She is the Director of Fellowship and Leadership Development Programs at the Harvard Kennedy School Center for Public Leadership. Before coming to CPL, our resource person held various private sector positions, including Deputy Legal Counsel of Silliman University and Director of the Dr. Jovito R. Salonga Center for Law and Development, while serving as faculty member of the College of Law. She also served as an elected local legislator in the Philippines, leading social innovation programs for women, children, and the underserved, and championing legislation on good governance and ethical leadership. She currently serves on the board of the Harvard Kennedy School New England Alumni Association and vice president of Save One Life, an international nonprofit serving children with hemophilia in developing countries worldwide. She holds a Master of Laws in Government Procurement from the George Washington University Law School and a Master in Public Administration from the Harvard Kennedy School. Our resource person received the 2019 Harvard Kennedy School Dean's Award and was among the 2019 Harvard Heroes. Dear teachers, it is my honor to introduce to you a wonderful woman through and through and a person whom I personally look up to, Attorney Myrish Cadapan Antonio. Hi, Mamay!
Hello, Lay. Maayong buntag din nimo og sa mga teachers nato nga pinalangga nga mulantaw sa show sa DepEd today. I'm very honored to be here and to join you.
How are you doing po? How's your family there?
Salamat for asking. Maayo man, but like all of you there, we continue to be challenged by this unprecedented pandemic, and we just plateaued in terms of cases there is a Boston. Currently, we have the lowest transmission rate in the United States. So nalipay mi ana, but you know, school openings are happening quite soon in September. Murag nahadlok mi gamay that might challenge how we are, and also without a vaccine, things will really not go back to normal, or they may never will. So how about you? Kumusta man mo din ha?
Okay lang yun, Mamay. We're doing really well, and we are about to start our classes on August 24 too. We share the same apprehension, but here in DepEd, we're trying our best to really move forward. So thank you also for asking me, Miss Mai. So Mamay, you'll be talking about leadership in turbulent times,
Yes.
implications for education. So please take it away. Thank you.
Salamat, Lay. So I'm going to slowly share my screen. I have a short presentation para to guide the short sharing that I have this morning. I will want to say that this unprecedented pandemic has brought multiple issues to education, but one of them is also leadership. And especially with what Leia and I have been talking about, kaning pag-abri sa atong mga eskwelahan. That is a leadership issue that must be dealt with not only by people we have chosen to serve us in government or to represent us, but must be shared with parents, teachers, as well as the students themselves. who are the end users of the decision. So musugod kita, I wanted to just, frame the conversation karong buntaga with the pandemic itself and multiple issues that have sprung from it being both challenging and unprecedented. So we have issues of safety and security, even death and demise of people, no? Mga patay. Not only because of poverty, kagutom, by the loss of jobs, daghan kayong nawad ang trabaho, dili lamang din na sa Pilipinas, diri po sa Amerika, about 20% sa mga Amerikano walay trabaho because of COVID, are on an unemployment insurance. And I know ang gobyerno sa Pilipinas is trying to do their best, especially at the local level, to help out those who have lost their jobs. And then in terms of education for our children, now K to 12, starting from the age of 4 or 5 all the way up to college, we are pushed to think about alternative ways of learning. And sa atong pagkabalo, dili tanan na ay computer, dili tanan layhan mahibalo gikan sa computer. And also, musakit atong mata sa computer. So, apart from the in-person learning that we are so used to, what are other modalities that we can think about that you, our dear teachers, who are our everyday unsung heroes, are open to thinking about, so that despite the challenges, the limitations of not being able to do in-person learning, we are still able to deliver what can be learned in the classroom, although in a different way. From here, where I stand, gamonitor ko sa Pilipinas, because naapadiha akong mamagpapa, naapadiha akong igsoon o iyang pamilya, akong mga amigo, no, Dumaguete and Negros Oriental, very dear to my family and my heart especially. We miss you every single day. So we are monitoring the challenges. And I know that DepEd came up with the news just very recently in June that it needs about 27 billion to provide laptops for teachers, those who would like to deliver learning online. And then, there is this equity issue. What about those who are in depressed areas or tuwa sa bukid? Unsaon man ang online learning ana nga maskin internet signal wala manggaling? Or even if you go by the books or what they call modular learning, unsaon man pag-abot ana didto, naabatay enough nga mga libro nga ipadala, kinsay mudala ana didto, ang safety and security sa mudala. And then pretty much like almost our everyday, and we have experienced that not only today, but also kung mutawag ko sa akong ginikanan, akong pamilya, there are various internet limitations in terms of signal and bandwidth, as well as cost that we have to think about. So, kana ato pang punan og mental health, we call that here zoomed out. Magsige taglantog computer, dili lang mo sakit atong mata, kapoy pod. And there is the challenge of connection. Kay di man ta magkita. Di man ta maka-holding hands sa atong mga amigo or even to hug them or kiss them, right? And then kapoy, I don't know with the rest of you, but I've been working online at home since late March, and sometimes I feel mura po ko gi-COVID kay sakit akong likod, and mura kong kahilantanon at the end of the day ug daghan kaay kong meeting. So these are just things that have been an emergence of the pandemic. It has affected education. And for you, dear teachers, this is something you can very much relate to. So I thought, daghan man yung effect sa pandemic on education, but for this morning, I will just narrow it down into 3 major categories. And those are, online education per se in terms of resources, computers, the internet, and a healthy workspace for our teachers and educators who deliver content. And then curriculum and pedagogy, the how. Even if naa kay internet, naa kay computer, unsaon man nimo pag-usob or pag-translate sa imong karaan nga curriculum nga i-deliver in person to an online learning that is engaging. Because kay baluta, limitado kaayo ang attention sa atuang mga estudyante or learners, especially kaning mga bata, those that are in K to 12. So how are we able to achieve the outcomes of content even in a very different space. And then finally, there are always these continuing challenges of health and security, because our children belong to families whose parents wala na tingali trabaho or do not have enough resources also to feed them with 3 square meals a day. And case in point would be those who rely on mga eskwelahan for food. Daghan man tag feeding program. So if sirado ang eskwelahan, asa naman sila sa feeding program. So I will just limit my presentation to these 3 major topics. So in terms of the what, meaning kaning atong challenge, limitasyon sa learning resources, what are the leadership competencies that come with meeting this challenge? So one, I thought, is resourcefulness, right? So mga karaang laptop sa atong mga amigog-amiga, dili ba na nato magamit? Or in areas nga walay internet, this modular way of delivery, right? Workbooks, unya, you can have like maybe smaller groups of delivering instructions, pinpoint them into certain areas, and then leave the students to have their parents follow up their learning. Resourcefulness, right? Collaboration. So, dili pwede masulbar ning atong gap in resources ug dili magtinabangay ang gobyerno, private citizens and companies, and even those in the non-profit world, ang mga NGO. Vulnerability, dili ni siya time nga maghinambog or nga mag-idja-idja ta, right? So kinahanglan og naatay need. We will ask for help. We will not have second thoughts of saying di ko kabaluan na, tudlo iko, or kinahanglan ko og tabang, please help me. I am sure that with the spirit of collaboration, there are experts out there and institutions that have best practices in online learning. Now, case in point, UP has had an open university for quite a while. Silliman University, right in Dumaguete, has the Silliman Online University Learning that has been existing for quite some time. These are existing resources that we can leverage and can be shared across the board. Context. So, dili pud pwede nga hunahunahon natong sa atong pagkamaestra nga kita ray nahibalo or sa pagkagobyerno ang gobyerno ray nahibalo. The community that is part of the stakeholders, so mga parents, no, ang atong mga estudyante also have a stake in terms of the decision making of these resources. So atong hunahunahon nga lain-lain ang kada estudyante, nay uban nga layhan sila mulantaw og computer for a long time, right? They can endure that for the whole day. There are those nga dili gyud. There are even those who probably do not want to learn in this time kay it is just too astounding for them. This is the time where we put things in perspective and in context, and we try to meet the learners where they are. Kaysa tininuod, lisod. Lisod ang kinabuhi, lisod ang atong eksperyensya karon, and we have never tried this. So, kinahanglan we give each other spaces and understanding. Another competency that's important is listening. Maminaw. Listening, not to respond, but listening to appreciate. So, kanang maminaw ta, it means gobyerno maminaw sa unsay hunahuna sa mga maestra who will be the ones delivering content. Nga maoy nang inahanglan aning laptop or other resources or books so that they can go on with their learning outcomes. Sa mga estudyante, regardless of age, no? And according to age and preference, unsa may pinaka-epektibo. Sa mga ginikanan, unsa may ilang mga problema o issues as regards the modality or the mode of delivery that government is suggesting. So, kinanglan maminaw ta, o kanang maminaw ta, di ta maminaw para makatubag ta, maminaw ta, kailangan ta musabot, ug unsa gyud ang mga issue, ug unsaon nato nga magtinabangay kita aron whatever outcomes we want atong mga goals for learning, no matter how limited in this difficult time, will really be achieved. And finally, transparency. So kay naminaw man ta, nakasabot ta, it is important for the decision makers, DepEd, government, teachers, those who are given power and authority, to be transparent. Meaning, mo share ta, mo communicate ta. Dili nato murag ihikaw kana nga communication on what's really happening to our stakeholders, to parents and to students. Kay that is the only way for us to succeed. All right, now pedagogy, which I think is a really big challenge for especially kaninyong mga maestra. And I have divided this according to competencies on pedagogy from the standpoint of educators and from the standpoint of learners. And I've divided them into 5 major competencies. Okay, the first one is a growth mindset. Para nako, both educators and learners have to think that this is an opportunity to grow. So, dear teachers, have the openness for exploring new ways of delivering content. Kung sa una, inyo ra ni siyang i-lecture mo, sulat mo sa blackboard, wala may blackboard karon with online learning, maybe what you can do is have activities nga makasabot sila, or if Zoom inyong platform, small groups, or naay murag Jamboard makasulat-sulat, right? And also, like, there is that openness not only for the modality but also ang time period. Kay limitado ba ya ang attention span sa mga bata? Now, to the students, also the openness to learn differently. The next is agility, meaning the flexibility nga kanang inyong karaang syllabus, you will need to then transform that into the modality or the platform that you are going to deliver content. So kung online, you will need to make a syllabus online and use whatever it is within the online setting to make the delivery more engaging. Kani pong atong mga estudyante, kinahanglan, naapod sila'y openness and flexibility to understand that this is a challenging time for teachers. The next one is compassion. So I am delivering teaching, in particular, our trainings ever since April online. And one of the things that has really helped us form these effective outcomes is by showing compassion. So, musabot ta og unsa nga type of learner atong mga estudyante o unsa po ilang gibate, unsay sitwasyon sa ilang pamilya that day or that week. And then we meet them where they are. Not everyone will be learning in the same pace as they were before niya. Kanang mga estudyante ninyo sa una nga bright, wa ta kabalo, gikapoy na sila o sa ilang mga pamilya, they are challenged because maybe one parent lost a job. It will not be the same. Bottom line is, let us show compassion and understanding. And then humility, humility in that there is so much unknown right now. But the unknown is an opportunity to learn. So, okay rag mo ingon putang maestra nga, class, so lisod ni siya, I am trying my very best, please stay with me here, right? I am being humble by sharing my challenge. You should be humble by embracing the challenge. Only when we work together can we make a difference and achieve our outcomes. And then finally, I said it before, but listening to yourself, to your students, and students listening to themselves, to each other, and to you will spell such a big difference in terms of a new learning pedagogy. It will be hard. Dili ko maing lisod, nga dili lisod. In fact, karon kami, we are doing a lot of one-on-one sessions. Kay lisod, people are challenged and you don't know where they are mentally. But together, you, the leaders of DepEd, the students and the parents, working as one, magtinabangay, there is no reason why you cannot rise above this challenge in education. So I guess the most important thing to think about is whether you like it or not. Ganahan ba kang COVID o di ka ganahan, dili ganas COVID, di mo ganahan ba? We all have no choice but to embrace this new normal. We do not know how long it will take for a vaccine to really come up or if it will be available widely. Moabot ba diya sa Pilipinas? Moabot ba diri sa Amerika? Wala ta kabalo. So while we are waiting for medical advancement, it is important for all of us to embrace the new normal. And the new normal becomes either online learning with the computers, modular learning, or a hybrid, or even thinking about just a slow pace of learning that will not be the same as in past years. And for yourselves, also embrace the new normal of being at home, teaching, maybe online, with your children with you, basi gadalagan-dalagan as likod, with more time with your family, which is good or not good, I don't know. And then of also thinking together with your fellow teachers and the leaders of DepEd on what innovations there are that could possibly be implemented in where you stand. Okay? Nelson Mandela said that education remains to be the most powerful tool that can change the world. And for me, that is still true. Now, before I end, there is this one big question that I think the Philippines has already answered. And I think Leia said in the beginning, we're August 24, muri open ang mga eskwelahan. But the bigger question becomes, what do you mean by reopening? And for me, that is a leadership question. There are policy, support, and other multiple considerations that have to be taken into consideration. Many of them involve health, safety, and security, learning differentiations, childcare for those working at home, feeding programs in schools, online resources and trainings in order to be adept in delivering them, strategic communication, but more importantly, community engagement. I bring back the bigger question, which is, who is the ultimate decision maker here? Maybe it is DepEd in terms of policy. Maybe it is you, the teacher, within the classroom. Maybe it is the students on how they would like to be engaged. On the whole, leadership does not exist in a void. It is a two-way street between the leaders and the people. And it is a mirror in which the people stand or say their collective reflection. So I hope that in this difficult time, you will be there for each other. You, dear teachers, for yourselves, your families, and for your fellow teachers, for yourselves, and for your students and their fellow students. Kay dili gyud nato ni masurmount nga kalisod og challenge unless we work together. So dinhira ko kutob, and I would like to thank Adolf and Felix, as well as Leia, for this wonderful chance to be able to share in a very short way. I hope there will be other opportunities from where I stand, my perspectives on implications of this pandemic to education. Le, back to you.
Salamat kayo, Mamay. That was truly inspiring. I liked it when you said na, you know, this is the new normal and there is no option, even if you don't want to, even if you don't like the pandemic, it is here. So we have to act and react accordingly. And that this is not just a one-man mission. It involves so many stakeholders. And I hope that that gives some form of support and hope for our teachers, knowing that they are not alone, that there are many decision makers around them, supporting them as they move forward with this new normal. So thank you so much, Attorney Mai. Some few words, last words po for our teachers before you go po.
Thank you, Leia. Well, I guess for me, wholeheartedly, daghan kaayong salamat for all you do. While I went to private schools, no, St. Louis and Silliman, I did live beside Hunob High School and knew the teachers and the students there very dearly. Mubisita ko, muspeak ko nila, and I also did volunteer work there. So I'm a believer in the public education system in the Philippines, and daghan kaayong salamat for all you do. So many of our learners in the Philippines rely on you, and please know that you are empowered to make your decisions in the classroom, and lisod siya. And it's okay to say lisod. Ayaw ka hadlok, ayaw ka ulaw. kami diri sa Amerika, galisod pud mi. In an institution where I belong, in Harvard, it is very difficult for us. So you are not alone in the difficulty. We are all in this together. And when we embrace the difficulty, it will turn into opportunity. And when we work together, we will be able to achieve the limited outcomes of this unprecedented challenge. So, buntag kaninyong tanan, and keep the faith, mag-ampo ta, magtinabangay kita kanunay.
Thank you, Ma'am Myrish, for your time. We are always praying for your safety. Thank you.
The same. Let's continue praying for each other. Salamat, Leia. You take good care, and best regards to your parents.
To yours too po, and your family there po.
Okay, take good care.
And that was Ma'am Myrish Cadapan Antonio with us as she talked about leadership in turbulent times, the implications of education. Dear teachers, I hope you were inspired by that. I was too. Remember, we are not alone. This might be the new normal, but together, as Ma'am Myrish said, we will rise above. This has been Leia saying, have a wonderful morning ahead and join us again for the next episode of Flexi Ed. Good morning.